Hey everybody, welcome to Fresh Out the Box Reads Rules about Superheroes. I am the typical game master, Johananon.
I am the atypical game master, Casualty CDG, and atypical in that I've never game mastered on this stream before, but I have done it. You can find me at Casualty CDG on all my social medias. Today we are reprising we're revisiting our superhero search. We're trying to figure out what systems do what, how they do it, and what we're going to play in 2022. But these videos, I guess the good thing about the date is you know what the options are going into 2022. So it's kind of cool. I know these are an hour, 2 hours long, but these are deep dives into the system. A deep dive first glance, somewhere in between, where we give you our first impressions of these systems, what we like about it, and then we rank them to let you know how we feel about these superhero games. Right now, we've looked at Cypher System, we've looked at Mutants and Masterminds, we've looked at Supers, and we've looked at Icons.
Yes. The
So,
current frontrunner is Icons. We were very surprised at how high we both rated that one. I liked it. That was the last one we did. Tiny Supers definitely seems to have some promise. I know
this one is by Gallant Knight Games.
Yes. Friend of the show, Alan Bahr, owner, CEO, Gallant Knight Games, has been nice enough to send us this book so that we can add it to our super series on superhero games. But yeah, Tiny Supers. We recently recommended it to a friend of ours who DMs for his students in Malaysia.
I think he moved. I think he's in the Middle East now, or maybe North Africa. Shout out to @Capricious Nature.
Yes,
he was a big cyberpunk streamer and is now playing some of the Tiny systems.
Yeah, Tiny Supers
by Gallant Knight Games.
Tiny Supers looks good. Right off the bat, cover artwork nice.
Let me kick over here.
Very nice. I like it. You got yourself.
So I was under the impression that Tiny systems were like 12 or 15 page books.
Yeah.
This is a 265 page PDF.
Yeah, no, so I also had the misconception that Tiny Systems had tiny books, but they don't. They're just accessible. And I think that's the point of them. I think that they're fleshed out systems. I'm excited to read this one. I have no expectations. I have no idea. I have no preconceived notion anymore. I can't.
It's actually,
yes.
I mean to say it's already exceeded my expectations in that I thought this was going to be a zine, and it's not.
I thought it was going to be a zine, yeah.
So I'm already impressed. And this cover art, when I expected this to be a zine, that means my expectation for the art was different.
If you like what you see, you can get this.
Badass.
You can get this on. You can go to GalleonKnight.com. I think it's also on DriveThruRPG, and it does not cost a lot. It's like a $10 book tops, maybe $15.
You see this cover with the Sentinels from the Matrix, totally running on Electric Iron Man and Miss Marvel. This is cool.
I love Electric Iron Man. I love Starfire. I love beat 'em up chick back there, and then I love magic people.
Domino. So. She could be Domino or Cyclops.
Oh yeah, she could have Cyclops powers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I always forget about the Cyclops powers. I wear my Hero Academia shirt. So haha.
Are you? Oh man, I'm wearing my sleeveless shirt, which I think in One Punch Man there's two sleeveless heroes.
Yeah, I really wanted to wear a superhero shirt for the stream, and the first thing I grabbed off of my pile was because I keep my clothes in a pile. It's efficient.
I should. Yeah, I was gonna say I should really plan my outfits for streams since we're doing these like for people to watch, right?
Yeah,
or listen to. I'm really not sure.
I just really like t-shirts. I'm a big graphics tees guy.
But I always just grab a thing off the pile, and I should probably think about what I'm wearing on camera. So
but yeah, let's see what these sections look like. How to play 5 to 18, not bad. Super creation 20 to 43. Okay, and then the Gallant verse and stuff like that. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's dive into it. How to play. Is that where you want to start? Yes.
I'm looking still to see, is this how to play the kind that teaches you how to roleplay? Or is this
so the first part is. The second part is tests.
Okay.
So tests are typically the meat and potatoes of the system. The core mechanic that runs Tiny Supers is called a test, which is a roll of 2d6 from your dice pool. For complex actions, the Game Master will usually require you to make a test to determine if you succeed at what you're doing. Tests are successful if you roll a 5 or a 6 on any of the dice rolled in your dice pool. That's very easy. That's a very simple thing. The Game Master and certain traits selected at Superhero Creation can grant you advantage in situations. This will allow you to roll 3 d6 instead of 2. That's pretty fucking easy, bro. Other situations, at the game master's discretion, you may put you at disadvantage, where you only get to roll 1. Yeah. Yeah, they have to.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Even if you will normally have advantage due to a particular trait, you still roll 1d6. Okay, so disadvantage.
Oh,
disadvantage does not remove 1 dice. If you have disadvantage, you roll 1 dice. Period. No matter how many dice you were supposed to roll.
I'm ready for a homebrew rule.
Where it
Right
slides.
Yep.
No, I actually like, because disadvantage. You want. I don't know. You only do it sometimes. You know what I mean?
That's true, but also if you are a guy standing on the ground and there's a tornado versus a guy who flies, and you're a flying guy and you're like, I'm getting the hell out of here. You shouldn't have that same disadvantage to get pulled into it.
I feel like a flying guy would be more at risk of getting pulled into a tornado, personally.
I'm thinking like a regular guy versus like Iron Man could probably dip the fuck out of there. His jets are fast as hell.
I don't think the regular guy gets to roll. I think that's the difference. I think the fact that you have dice makes you a superhero in this game. But yeah, obstacles are used to challenge, usually required to make a test. Obstacles may include attempting to barter with a shopkeeper, pick a lock, search a room. Okay, so obstacles is anything in your way of success. The game master may determine your role playing is sufficient to overcome the obstacle. I like that. Because sometimes you guys say really good, like the right thing, and I want it to just work. But that also can tend to give a bonus to just charismatic people, which I'm fine with for the most part. Save tests.
What it does is it gives an advantage to descriptive people.
True.
And so
it rewards roleplay, and I'm always okay with it.
Not to put anybody on the spot, but I think that Matt, our friend Matt, he's kind of monotone. He's not the most charismatic person, but the things that he says
does say good things.
Hilarious, and the ideas that he have are great.
Yeah.
And he gets advantage more often than I think just about any of them. And it's not, like you said, charismatic people, sure, people that want to talk have a bigger chance to get it, but it does really help everybody to try to give it a little bit of extra pizzazz and extra flavor.
No, we definitely gotta get Matt back in the game soon. We have so many coming up. We're gonna start casting for 2 games. So.
Are we seriously gonna play multiple superhero games? Have we decided?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. It's possible, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to.
We don't want to commit to it.
I don't want to commit to it yet. We are definitely playing one. 100% we're playing a superhero game.
We are in the fresh out the box kitchen right now.
Yeah.
We're looking at our ingredients, and it looks like we have enough ingredients to bake 2 full superhero cakes.
We do. I want to reach out.
We may keep those ingredients on the shelf and bake another superhero cake.
I want to reach out to a couple of companies. Namely, I want to reach out to Artel Soren again, see what they got cooking. I want to reach out to...
and we could always do another Cyberpunk game. That Cyberpunk...
I've thought about it. That was a fun 10-shot. And then also, they have Fallout, I believe, right?
They do.
Or is that Modifius? Or is it both of them?
I do think they both have the license, but Modifius has the current license.
Yeah, I was thinking about Fallout. We could reach out to Modifius. They've been pretty decent to us in the past. There's a lot of stuff I want to play, so yeah, we'll see. But definitely we're playing one. Save tests.
Where are we? We're in Tiny Supers right now. That's where we are.
We're on save tests on page 7.
Obstacles may arise that require you to make what's called a save test in order to prevent something from happening to you. For example, you'll need to successfully leap out of the way as a trap springs, or you're climbing a rope when it snaps, and you could potentially fall right next to your secret weakness that keeps you from flying. Save tests are also used to stabilize yourself if you're being if you begin a turn at 0 stress capacity. Save tests are just like regular tests, unless otherwise noted by the rules of the Game Master. So you roll a 2d6 to resolve your test. A 5 or a 6 on any of the rolled dice represents a successful save. Some save tests can be a life or death scenario. These are called save or die tests. Should you fail the save test, your character is killed. Period. There is no preventing it. The game masters are advised to keep these situations few and far between. Combat is the next section.
Okay,
I have
so
to imagine.
I like that they have them, but I also like that they say don't do them.
Yes, that's
fair.
right.
I like
Your
that.
character can die, but don't.
If that was a bread and butter part of this game, I know that you aren't the biggest fan of major lethality, and especially in a superhero game. Although things like The Boys and Jupiter's Legacy, those have a lot of lethality to them.
So
But
I
yeah.
totally forgot how good Invincible was. I haven't watched it again,
God.
but like I was just thinking about it yesterday. So you've got hero lethality and Invincible. And
It makes
that is
me.
a great world.
It irritates me how people online don't know that Invincible's Asian.
Yeah, that they don't know that he's half white, half Korean.
Yeah, and he's voiced by
Voiced by a Korean voice actor.
yeah, and it's like because they were trying to cast him as like the fan cast. They're casting him as a white guy. I'm like, fucking stop! What are you doing? I was so angry. Because there's like this man. There's like one hand's worth, which is 5. I know how to count. Asian superheroes. Like there's so few. Stop taking. I don't know. It's crazy.
Oh shit, that's good.
This man.
You know, and as far as white superheroes go, I'm willing to give up Iron Fist. If you want to make him a more creative Asian character, please, by all means. Danny Rand sucks.
Yeah.
Please rewrite him.
Yeah.
You can have him. We're willing to give up a few. I know that at this point. A lot of our heroes fucking suck.
It's okay. They're you know, you got Miles Morales, you got Ironheart, they're making the plays. So
They are, that's true. Back to combat. The game master will usually announce when combat's about to begin by requesting an initiative test. Supers will roll the standard 2d6 and add up the total of their rolls. Likewise, the game master will roll initiative for enemy combatants from the supers that the supers will be facing. The highest roller will have the first turn in initiative order, followed by the next, and so on. If there's a tie between a super and an enemy, the super always goes first. If there is a tie between 2 or more people, 2 or more supers that is, the tying supers re-roll for that position until the tie is broken. Combat is strictly turn-based to keep things running smoothly. A round of combat begins at the top of initiative order and ends at the bottom. The next round of combat then begins, so they call those rounds. This continues until the supers have defeated the enemies, completed their objective, or until the supers have been killed or routed. While it can take some time to get through an entire round of combat in a game, a full round of combat is equal to roughly 5 or 6 seconds, which is standard in tabletop role-playing games, it seems. One thing I really liked about Icons,
Yeah.
I think it was, is that things took place on pages and in frames.
yeah.
Which, instead of the usual 6-second action, like, there are spells there are powers like magic. And it's like, if you want to cast a spell, you prepare it for a page. Which I think is cool. It's not 6 seconds, it's a page. It's just cool. That's cool wording that they use. Here, we're back to the standard 5 or 6 seconds, which is fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
During your turn in initiative order, you have 2 actions. You can choose to move, attack, and generally not to be useless with these actions. If you move, that's 1 action. If you attack, that's 1 action. You can use both actions to move, or both actions to attack if you wish. Other actions include sheathing or unsheathing a weapon, using a superpower, grabbing an item, and giving an item to an ally.
Okay.
Movement is defined by announcing your intentions to move from one location to another, and the Game Master determines whether you can cover enough ground to get there with that action. This is where miniatures and maps can come in handy, as they'll assist with determining distance. It's also assumed that each super can move just as far away as any other super with a single action, unless the Game Master says otherwise. A good rule of thumb is to assume your character can move approximately 25 feet in-game with a single action. So, as long as there isn't anything hindering their movement, if you're using a combat grid, 25 feet is 5 squares. That's also kind of a usual standard.
That's pretty
sort of
standard for
movement
TTRPGs.
and they don't really use different ranges. It's kind of up to the game master, rather. Theater of the mind.
Yeah.
Attacking is the most important aspect of combat. First and foremost, if you're attacking an enemy, you must be within range of your enemy to do so. A fist won't reach an enemy 25 feet away unless you're truly fantastic, mister.
It's pretty
Getting
good
within
joke.
range will require you to move if you're using a melee weapon. Once you're in range, you can attack. Attacking is just another type of test, and the obstacle is your enemy. Usually, you're going to be using the type of weapon you have mastered to attack. Any weapon type you have mastered allows you to roll an attack with advantage, aka 3d6. If you're simply proficient with the weapon you're wielding, your attack is a standard 2d6. You have disadvantage while wielding weapons that you are not proficient with. This includes unarmed combat and improvised weapons. So this system almost is a OSR. It almost does remind me of an OSR system.
It does. But I don't know. There's a lot of girth in this book, and I feel like it might pad out a little more.
This is just kind of the system rules itself.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten into the super flavor.
We haven't gotten into much of it yet. Yeah, this is pretty boilerplate kind of stuff. Yeah.
But it is nice to see how this system works.
Yeah, you got to figure it out. That's one of our categories.
That's right. We're about to get into special actions too and how this works. On a successful attack test, you deal 1 point of damage to your enemy unless you have something that would modify it, like a heavy melee weapon, super strength, or your game master says so. Game masters are encouraged to reward role-playing at all times, so a particularly detailed description of an attack may score more than 1 point of damage to your enemy if the game master says so. Each point of damage removes 1 stress capacity from the target. 2 special actions you can perform in combat are focus and evade. When you choose focus, the next time you attack, your test is successful on a roll of 4, 5, or 6, increasing your chances of hitting the enemy. Your focus action remains in effect until you choose to attack or until the end of combat, so the action can carry over to other turns. There's no benefit from stacking the focus action. So it says the next time you attack, would you allow somebody to focus on an action or focus on a skill? Like if we were fighting a guy who shoots electricity and I focused on dodging the next one?
Say that again.
The way rules are written, it says that you get a success on a 4, 5, or 6 the next time you attack.
Yes.
Would you allow us to, for example, use it to do that for a skill instead of an attack?
Probably.
Okay. I think that's cool.
Probably.
I think the focus is a cool action.
Well, it does say focus action. It doesn't say focus attack, so I would be inclined to definitely allow that.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
The next is, the other thing you can do is evade, beside focus. When you evade, until the start of your next turn, you can test 1d6 when you're successfully hit by an enemy. If your test is successful, you evade the attack and do not take damage.
I do like that.
So you have to roll a 5 or a 6, and you only have 1 die to.
I do, yeah, but like the fact that you get to is pretty good.
I would be surprised if there was not a superhero power that gave you an extra d6 to evade.
Yeah, no,
I'm
definitely.
sure there is.
I am excited to.
Guy,
I'm very excited for the character creation. Superhero games, that's always my favorite.
Here's something I love to see. This is going to get these folks extra points in the outline. You know, the way that the visual layout. There you go. That's what I'm thinking of. After all the actions, there's a big red box here that says, to recap, the actions are evade, focus, test an ability, attack, and move. So that's nice to see them all in one spot, nice and bright and lit up. Good job.
Yeah.
Then this goes into weapons.
We are always talking about doing
layout.
That is always big points every time they do it. So
yeah, we like to see everything in one spot. It helps after you know what it all does to see it all together.
Yes. There are 3 categories of weapons in Tiny Supers: light, melee, heavy, melee, and ranged. You can still attack while unarmed with improvised weapons. Blah, blah, blah. Light weapons have the benefit of only requiring one hand. Okay. It's free. It frees you up to do other things with your free hand, like grab a potion. Well, you know what you can do with hands. Okay. Examples are things that you would guess: daggers, short sword, hammers, smart cars, and other supers. Okay. If it's a weapon you can swing with one hand, it's probably a light melee. That's kind of funny. Heavy melee weapons require both hands, because to do so would be unwieldy otherwise. It might not matter how strong you are. Sometimes it's about shape and momentum. The benefits of the attack weapons do too. Damage. And the examples are great swords, warhammers, trains, cars like sedans and larger, planes, tankers, or giant space starfish.
Love it.
I do enjoy, though I like the flavor. We're getting a little flavor in the rules, and we always like that. That's points. I
was just talking about the distance zones also. They do have the optional rules to use zones as close, near, and far instead of just kind of up to the GM discretion.
Close, near, and far is always my favorite way to do it.
Love it.
How far away am I? Far. It's good. It's good. You want to get closer? Okay. Move closer.
Yeah. That means you're not close enough yet. Everybody knows that.
Non-powered ranged weapons often require one hand to hold, but 2 to operate. But this isn't a hard and fast rule. Judgment may be determined. Yeah, obviously. Pistols are one-handed, blah, blah, blah. The downside to this is that they require an action to load and one action to fire. In Tiny Supers, unless otherwise noted by the Game Master, it's assumed you're always carrying enough ammunition for your ranged weapon for the sake of simplicity. We love simplicity, which I do. Not counting bullets, y'all. That's not how super games work. Unless, like, I would say, like, hey, you're out of ammo. Like, as an event. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that could be fun. Examples of ranged weapons are throwing axes, shurikens, slings, bows, energy blasts, standard firearms, ray guns, heat vision, and crossbows. It's important to note that energy blast can be a legitimate range power inside the range power weapon group. Superpowers such as super strength can also enhance unarmed attacks. Oh, here's the optional rules zones. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have it nice and this is a good visual. Zones and ranges. I like that.
The one that's right underneath it.
Yeah, with the evade and focuses on the side.
Mm-hmm. And it has, you can use ranged and magic from far, and then maybe heavy melee near.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Nice layout. Again, good job on the layout and the format, and putting everything in one nice, understandable, observable spot.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that is something most people agree on, but it's definitely something me and Gary agree needs to be in the book. I feel like most people would agree with us, but I don't actually know. We've never talked to people about our grading policies, so...
That's true. We're in an echo chamber, and our grading is the best grading! No, it isn't. Our grading is just our opinions.
Our grading is pretty... it's like... I feel like it's just fine. I feel like our grading's good, it gets the point across, and it gets our opinion out, so...
How many tabletop role-playing games have you read in your life? I think that's important. We've read a lot of books. We've looked at a lot of content.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Over 30?
In my life, I've read more.
Yours is probably over 100.
Yeah, I've read a lot. Let's see. We can skip a lot of this, I think.
Yeah, stress capacity is sort of the next part where it starts to talk about things.
Yeah, I have looked at the character sheet, so I kind of know what it looks like.
In combat, your stress capacity is your health.
Yeah.
When you take 1 damage, you lose 1 stress capacity. It says that you need 6 hours of sleep to regain your stress capacity. You gain 1 for every hour of sleep. And 6 hours of sleep restores you to your maximum. Then it talks about how you get disadvantage while you're sleeping to make a test to see if you wake up. So that's 1 die. We already learned what disadvantage is. It talks about character death. Your stress capacity when it gets taken to 0 but you don't go past 0 in this game. You just stay at 0, and you make tests to try to stabilize yourself. A successful test will bring your stress capacity to stabilized, and then up to 1, and that ends your turn.
Okay.
If you fail
Pretty
them,
simple.
then you get one last test. Blah blah blah. You fail all your tests. You know what happens in this game. You die.
Pretty simple.
And it's at the bottom. It says, "Should you die, don't worry too much. There could be ways to bring your character back to life. Oftentimes by making ill-advised bargains with extra-dimensional beings, robotic duplicates, or sagas about clones."
Is that a reference to the Clone Saga, the greatest saga to ever happen in comic books?
It sure is, Jahan. And again, more points for flavor. Thanks for throwing those jokes in there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of jokes in here. I like to think that someone's reading this and not getting them, and it sounds weird. Because like that reference to Mr. Fantastic earlier, if you don't realize what that is, if you just don't think it sounds weird, it's funny. I don't know. All right, stealth.
2d6.
2d6. I don't think we need to. Hiding during combat uses an action. Okay, that's pretty simple. Magic. Magic.
So this is a big, fat, thick paragraph.
This is like a 2-pager.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna skim.
For a spell reader to use a magic scroll, they must be holding it and perform a standard 2d6 test. A successful test uses a scroll's ability, but destroys the scroll. If you fail the test, the scroll is not destroyed, but you don't cast the spell.
Okay. Spell touch individuals won't be able to do some of the grander spells a spell reader can cast.
Magic.
Okay. Spell touch are able to subtly affect their surroundings, produce small illusions. Spell touch individuals are also able to sense magic. To use this ability, 2d6 test. Cool.
2d6.
This is treated just as a ranged attack in combat and requires an action. All right.
Beast speakers can speak to nature and animals. They don't have to test for that.
Familiars are usually benevolent spirits. I feel like that's really up to a lot of opinion on that. Familiars are incorporeal and everything, but to everything but their master, and as such are able to physically interact with other objects. Are unable. Okay. They have 1 stress capacity and can be damaged by magical effects. Okay.
In order to heal, if you're a healer, you have to be adjacent to your target and perform a standard 2d6 test.
Interesting. Yeah, pretty simple. Magic items such as weapons, armor, clothing, jewelry, and other objects may be acquired or created. It is up to the game master to determine exactly what they do. Fair enough. Optional rules
for experience and character growth. These are my 2 favorite rules. One is the minimalist advancement, where a character gains 1 new trait every 3 sessions. And you can never have more than 7 traits. So it's almost a milestone type of thing, but you just level, you get experience every couple sessions. The next one is experience points. At the end of the session, the game master will reward experience. You may buy upgrades at the following costs. And this is why I don't love this, but that gives this game extra points for simplicity and for crunchiness. It could be crunchy if you want it to. In which case you could, for 6 experience, a permanent increase to your SC of 1. What's SC?
Stress capacity.
Very good. 8 experience equals a new proficiency or mastered weapon. And 10 experience equals a new trait. Then for the GM, for the game master, for the GM, Jahan, it shows you that players should receive 1 to 4 experience per session. 1 for roleplay, 1 for defeating enemies, 1 for advancing the plot, 1 for the group, for contributing to the enjoyment of the session, such as snacks, carpooling, or hosting.
I do enjoy this style of experience. This is kind of how they do in a White Wolf. At the end of a White Wolf session, you get a couple points, and you can save them, or you can spend them in a point buy-in kind of style thing. The rules don't cover that. Tiny Supers is a minimalist rule set and provides only a framework for gameplay. There are a lot of scenarios that could happen in a game the rules don't cover, but neither do the epic tomes that other game systems use. If a situation arises, GM's final arbiter. That's what this says.
Then we get to superhero creation.
Yeah.
Big red paragraph again. And I'd like to point out that this big red paragraph actually extends to the far right side of the page. So that means if you're flipping through this as a book, these big red paragraphs
you can
stick
see
out
them.
to you. You don't even have to tab your books. It's built in.
Yeah, you could probably see that.
It's just probably the best layout I've seen.
It is a good layout. Definitely
First,
a good layout.
select an archetype from the archetype list. Then select 3 unique power traits from the power trait list. You may substitute a trait from the trait list for a power trait choice. Select a power origin, select a weakness, select a weapon group, and then select a belief.
Okay. It's pretty easy. That's it. That's how you create a superhero in Tiny Supers.
So it's a classless game, but it should be. I think superhero games lean to be classless.
Classes are fine, but they're limiting.
Yes, and superhero games seem to give you more of like instead of classes, you have like a power set. Like these ones are defense and these ones are offense. And so those I wouldn't call it. That's not class. Those aren't classes. Those are just sort of spells you can pick from. There's a little ramping up the game section here.
Okay.
So that
street level super team Cosmic Defenders.
Yes, that is different levels of powers for your team. We've talked about this. We've talked about this almost every stream. We want to do something where we are low power heroes that become and level up. So we would probably be starting closer to the street level.
Which means limiting everyone to 1 power. The other picks must be traits. Heroes should select non-obvious powers or skin them in such a way as to make them subtler.
Ooh.
So don't be, Hulk Smash.
Super Team. This one, everyone gets 5 powers. Which is fun because the base game is 3. So you can take it down to 1, you can keep it 3, you can knock it up to 5, or you can go Cosmic Defender level. 8 powers for everyone. So I might actually say, how about 2?
Yeah, 2's not bad. No, I like it. I like it. Powers and traits, yeah, okay. Game Masters, whilst this is going on, you should be thinking of what type of scenario. Yeah, I know. Thanks. I don't know. Sometimes the advice I take, I offense. I'm like, but I do understand. Some people are running a game for the first time, and that's fine. It's just like, I'm always thinking about what kind of story I'm going to run. Guy? No. I can yell at him directly. I know this guy. Alan? Right. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for the advice.
So there are no classes, but the first thing we do is select an archetype from the archetype list.
Okay. Paragons, Defenders, Strikers, Gadgeteers, Experts, Controllers, Masterminds. Those are them. That's it.
Is that all in a red paragraph at the end that goes and shoots off to the side of the page?
No.
Oh.
Maybe further down.
Okay.
Maybe he puts them all together for like I don't know. But so Paragons. Right. So this is going to set descriptions. This is going to set your stress capacity and a bonus of some kind. So Paragons are the heroes who stand as example to all other heroes, determined, flexible, honest, and brave. Paragons are just as varied as the places you can find them in. They come in all shapes and sizes and temperaments. 6 stress capacity is what you start at. Paragons select an additional power from the power list. That's what you get. You get an extra power.
Next is Defenders. These are the heroes who are there to keep everyone on track and alive. They're often the team leaders, putting the well-being of others before their own. This one you have 8 stress capacity, so that's a +2 from the Paragon. And Defenders start with the archetype trait Protector. Protector, once per turn, when an ally is hit, you can choose to take the hit instead.
It's dope. That's dope. All right, Striker, 7 stress capacity, which is still more than the Paragon. Interesting. Strikers start with the archetype trait Powerful Blows. Powerful Blows, the damage you deal cannot be reduced. That sounds pretty good.
Next is the Gadgeteer, which I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The guy who makes the stuff. You have a 6 stress capacity, again, so you're on the low end. You start with the archetype Inventor. With Inventor, once per day, you may create a 1-use power gadget that lets you emulate a Tier 1 power. You count as having that power for 1 roll or use of your choice. You may never have more than 3 power gadgets in existence at one time. It takes 1 day to create a new gadget. So you get 3 powers in your pocket.
You get 3 powers in your pocket, but like at the beginning of the day, if you're like, hey, we're robbing a bank for the good of people, I can make a phase belt or something. Like, like it's
right.
pretty cool.
And it's a 1-use. It's a 1-banger.
It's a 1-use, but it's like the most flexible thing that there is in the game, it sounds like, which I like.
Pretty cool.
I like.
Yeah, the Gadgeteer sounds pretty neat.
It gives that right flavor. 6 stress capacity for the Expert. Experts start with the archetype trait Mastery. Mastery, you may not select more than 1 power. You must trade out the rest of your powers for traits from the trait list. However, you gain 2 additional traits.
Interesting.
So these are your potentially these are your Batmans. These are your Daredevils.
I was going to ask: are traits things that you use to morph your powers, or are traits things like acrobatics?
Traits are things like the trait Mastery, like the trait Inventor, like the trait Powerful Blows. They're passives, I think. And you like passives, so.
I do. These could be really cool.
Oh yeah, no, the Master sounds dope. Is it Master? No, Expert. Expert sounds dope.
Next is Controller, which I think Controller could be very cool. You have 5 stress capacity. This is one of the lowest we've seen, and Mastermind is next. It also has a 5.
Yeah, so
but Controller has
the wizards.
That's right. Here's your squishy boys. Controllers start with the archetype Crowd Control. You may use any power that does not directly inflict damage on up to 3 targets rather than just 1. Cool. So if you have the sleep spell, now it works for 3 people because it's not a damaging power. If you have a slow mucky muck, high above the clouds, that's exactly how you would do that.
There's this Wonder Boy, yeah. Mastermind, stress capacity 5. Mastermind start with the trait Leadership. Leadership, as an action, you can direct your allies in battle, executing complex plans, surprise tactics, and ensuring victory. You may choose 2 targets to gain advantage on their next roll, which can be pretty big. That's definitely you could tabletop the shit out of somebody doing that. Here are the traits.
Oh, good. I was asking about.
You were just asking about them, and then there they are. And we always like that.
So the Expert can pick 1 power and 4 traits, right?
The which one? Yes.
The Expert? Okay.
The Expert gets 1 power, and no, they get... So it depends. So they get 2 additional from the standard. But it does say for a total of 5 traits and 1 power. And 4 traits. Oh, 5 traits or 1 power and 4 traits. Those are your choices with the Expert.
Okay. So, yeah, we're either 1 power and 4 or 5 traits. I'm just going to try to think about what stacking 4 or 5 of these would do for a character as I read through them. First is Acrobat. There's a lot. I'm gonna read a bunch of them, and you tell me the ones that you want to hear. There are 3 pages of them. Acrobat. Alchemist, Armor Master,
Alchemist,
Bahr Fighter. Alchemist is on your list?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a multi-dimensional Chthonian blood, has many uses. It's also great on salads.
Gross.
Provided the right reagents and recipes, you can mix potions, elixirs, and poisons. You also gain advantage when identifying unknown liquid.
Fair.
After Alchemist, we have Armor Master, Bahr Fighter, Beast Speaker, which is just that simple. You can speak to beasts. You don't have to roll for it. Berserker, Brawler, charismatic. Here's one I want to read is Cleave. I will bathe in the blood of enemies. If your attack drops an enemy to 0 stress capacity, you may immediately make an extra attack with disadvantage. Oh, okay, that's not bad. Next is Dark Fighter.
Yeah, you don't suffer disadvantage for having a sight impaired. It's good.
Exactly, that's a cool one. I was going to say, that's your Batman. You want that one.
And Daredevil.
Oh, for sure.
Potentially. Detective, Die Hard. Die Hard, when you attack, would reduce you to 0. It instead reduces to 1 capacity. You can use this once per day. It's not bad.
Yeah, if you're picking up 4 or 5, you got to pick up Die Hard.
It's a good one. The Punisher has that one for sure. Educated. Edict Memory. When testing to recall information you have seen or heard previously, even in passing, you succeed on a roll of 4, 5, or 6. Oh, familiar is a trait. I didn't expect that. Your faceless shadow cat is really freaking me out, man. For as long as you can remember, you have never truly been alone. Another spirit has linked itself to yours, accepting you as its friend and master. See Magic on page 15.
Healer is just straight up one of the traits here. As an action, you can test 2d6 to heal a creature other than yourself. If the test is successful, they are healed for 2 stress capacity. It can also be used to cure poison, disease, and other physical ailments that are non-magical. You must be next to the creature to heal.
And it does say see magic, so that means that's magical healing, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. It's magical or it's divine, actually. Earlier it said in the healing section that it's whatever flavor you need it to be.
I don't actually distinguish between those two things.
I don't either.
I guess I would in because divine magic and arcane magic are very different in Dungeons and Dragons. So
in an origin, in a superhero game also, you kind of pick the origin of your power.
Matter, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's alien or divine or magic, but it matters for the flavor of the character. Insightful is the next one, and then Lucky. Lucky is getting to re-roll 1 test per session. You don't get some kind of strange luck points, which, good.
It is easier, yeah. You have 1 box to check.
Man, Marksman is really good. Earlier I was asking you about focusing an action to succeed on a test. This one, you focus to make your next attack a success on a 3, 4, 5, or 6. Not just a 5 or 6, not just the focus action that does 4, 5, or 6, but 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you're the sniper boy, you're going to want this one. Or girl, if you're the sniper girl, or the sniper they. Next is Martial Artist, then Nimble Fingers, Opportunist, Perceptive, Quick Shot, Resolute, Shield Bearer. While wielding a shield, test with 2d6 on evade actions instead of 1d6. If you choose this trait, your super gains a shield at super creation. All right.
Fair enough.
Spell Reader. I like the little quip next to Spell Reader.
P as in phylactery. Spell Reader, yeah, let's check that one out. You have spent years learning the sacred language of the arcane, allowing you to read power-laced words from magic scrolls. Okay, fair enough.
And the next one is Spell Touched. So where Spell Reader is sort of the wizard, Spell Touched, it runs in the family.
Yeah.
You were born with arcane heritage.
Wizard and sorcerer.
Centuries have diluted your power. You can still subtly influence the world around you. And we read about Spell Reader and Spell Touched earlier in the magic section also.
And now here they are. I wasn't expecting them in this section, but yes, I don't mind it.
These are really cool. Again, if you're the expert, when we read the expert, we were like, yeah, maybe it makes you a Batman or a Daredevil. But
it can make you a wizard.
It can make you a wizard. It can make you the best wizard, sorcerer, alchemist in the world. And you never have to pick a point of Die Hard. Or you can pick Die Hard and Cleave and Rage, and you can be the murder machine. You can be Drax the Destroyer here.
Yeah, you can be a weapon. Yeah, Drax could be an expert for sure.
Tough, because I would take tough with Drax and get 2 additional stress capacity. I would get strong advantage on doing things with brute force.
Tracker, Trapmaster, Vigilant, Wealthy. Let's read Wealthy. That's the last one. Who needs superpowers when you have money?
That's what I'm saying.
When you wish to purchase something, you simply make a test with advantage. If successful, you can buy the item in question. Be careful not to abuse or overuse this ability. It's designed for simulating wealthy superheroes, not for catching all to solve problems or frustrate your GM.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair in every game.
I'm going to buy the whole city.
Well, that's really funny. That would actually be a great story arc.
Maybe.
If you had somebody buy the whole city by like episode 20, and then they had to worry about
by episode 20, yes. In the first episode, go fuck yourself.
Unless you're a real good role player, no sir.
Unless you're a real good role player, but man, I don't want to run that.
Because I would totally love somebody to play Kingpin.
Be interesting. Power trait list. This is different. Power traits come in 3 tiers of strength. Anytime you select a power to gain, you gain the tier 1 ability for the power. To gain higher tier, you must expend an extra power trait.
So these were my questions earlier too. Traits. Power traits are still traits, right?
They're different though.
They're powers.
Yeah.
My question was going to be, can an expert just buy power traits for their powers instead of getting other powers? Can they just be an expert of one superpower?
I'm searching. No, those are the powers.
Okay.
Because otherwise, the expert's the best.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's what I wanted to find out.
Yeah. No,
I thought expert might be the best.
It still might be.
I mean, it's aptly named.
I mean, Paragon. So Paragon gets an extra power. FYI. So that's cool.
That is cool.
Power traits come in 3 tiers. Yeah, I already read that. Choice when creating character. There's an example. I don't need examples. Power may take the form of anything you wish visually, but the power's function stays the same. Fair. You can flavor it however you want. Powers are also noted by a passive or active tag. Very helpful. This indicates whether you have to use it or if it's just going on all the time.
Hey, look at that. His example character is Aaron. Aaron's creating her character. That's his wife. It's a nice little shout out.
Aw.
That's sweet.
Hi, Bars.
Look, just under that it says on velocity when Alan's making his hero, in parentheses.
The armored, Velocity suit of armor.
Velocity and Gallant are their 2 hero names.
I don't mind it. So armored passive. Tier 1, reduce all damage taken by 1 to a minimum of 1. Tier 2, you reduce all damage you take by an additional 1 to a minimum of 0. That's cool. And then tier 3, you get 2 stress capacity on top of all that. Then you have Blast, which is an active. I'm going to read this so that we have an idea of active and passive. Tier 1, you may make a ranged attack to deal 1 damage. You never have to reload this ranged attack. Tier 2, the blast does +1 damage for a total of 2. Tier 3, your blast always counts as having the benefit of focus applied. Additional focus actions do nothing extra for your blast. So, essentially, you always have advantage.
Yes.
Unless you have disadvantage.
And then if you were a real cool person, you could go back up to the traits, and you could take the marksman trait so that when you focus, it's a 3, 4, 5, or 6. Or are you not allowed to focus anymore? It does say additional focus actions.
Yes, marksman would apply to this. I would absolutely rule it that way. Because the wording is actually, got to give them credit, that is some potential word fuckery right there. But the way that both are said works. So, good on you. Good job. I approve. So elemental control is much, I think you have to pick your element. which
You
is
may
cool.
select more than one element by selecting this power multiple times.
Cool. Cool.
And there are, every single tier has the 4 elements.
Yes.
So there are 2 pages worth here, but just to give you a taste, the elements, of course, are air, earth, fire, and water.
Yeah. Then there's energy control, which is absorption, darkness, electricity, light, time. Those are those.
Shit.
Yeah. And you do also have to select one. But you can take it multiple times.
Next is flight. Flight is a passive power. At first, you can reach the speed of sound. Then you can add melee attacks, and they add a +1 damage if you're flying at top speed. Then you can fly faster than the speed of sound, and faster than a speeding bullet, if you know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It only takes you 1 action to get to full speed, and while flying at full speed, any attacks against you are at disadvantage.
It's pretty cool.
So
Those are good fly rules.
They're fast. They make you really fast, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Force fields, gravitics. Is that gravity powers?
I don't know. Is it gravitics?
It says gravitics. So, tier 1, as an action, you can hurl one target up or pin them to the ground. Yeah, it sounds like you can control gravity. Tier 2, you can hurl items at targets, effectively making them a small center of gravity. Yes. So you're turning someone into singularity. And your tier 1 graphics action now imposes disadvantage at 3. There's healing as a power.
You restore 1 stress capacity, then the next one you can restore 1 stress to 2 targets you touch, and then tier 3 is you can restore 2 stress capacity to 1 target, or 1 to 3.
Immunities are cool. All the tier 1s, you don't have to breathe. You can pick to be immune to pressure, so you can turn into Aquaman real quick there. Vacuum, so you can be in space. Poisons, heat, cold. I like it. They only get stronger. One of them at tier 3, you become immune to death. If killed, you come back in D3 weeks. You must select a weakness that will permanently kill you, and the GM must approve it. And 1 type of weapon you can become immune to. Okay, so that's funny. Invisibility, mind reading, phasing, obviously like going through stuff. Regeneration, which is a passive. Shapeshifting, is phasing active? Yes. Shapeshifting active. Oh, this is where you get your stretching powers.
Very cool. Is this where you get... It is, mimic.
Yep.
This might be cloning, maybe?
No, that's this is becoming someone else. But cool. It is where you get your growing and shrinking powers.
I'm looking for my duplicate, but I think duplicate and mimic could be really cool.
Yes. And fucked up. You can do fucked up stuff with that. Snare. Okay. You can snare people. Summon. Maybe this is where duplicate is. Oh, summoning is the only power where a higher tier prohibits use of a previous tier. If you gain summoning tier 2, you can no longer use tier 1, and vice versa. When minions are summoned, they only gain 1 action per turn. So you can summon either 4 minions who count as fodder or 2 minions who count as low. And then it just gets better and better, essentially.
After summoning, we have super movement, which is a passive. We have super senses as a passive. Super speed, super strength, telekinesis as an active, teleport as an active. And that brings us to power origin. That's the next section of character creation.
Dang, did you see a duplicate?
I did not see duplicate.
Interesting.
Let me go back through. Maybe I just missed it. Maybe it was somewhere hidden.
Because the reason why it's important for us to find the things we think of is because this goes to options. It's one of our categories. And being able to make literally anything is a huge, you get points.
No, I don't
think you can.
I don't see multiple man.
I do not.
Is there item creation, like make things appear, pull things out of thin air? Like matter creation, you know what I mean?
I think that gets into like elemental and energy control, but I don't see anything that's exclusively like, hey, here summon items. I don't see that one either. So yeah, there are some powers that aren't in. I guess that's fine. It happens. Now, if anyone in chat can ever, we always like people to throw power sets at us. We'll see if we can do it.
See if we can stump the book.
And we already did, so the book has been stumped.
Yeah, I stumped the book twice.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see magnetism.
I think in magnetism's defense, I think you could flavor gravitic.
You could. You could do a lot of flavor of a lot of stuff. Honestly, you could technically make multiple man if you just did a summoning and said that you were summoning copies. It is pretty vague. So you could. Power origin. You must select one of the following power origins. You gain advantage on any non-attack or non-combat test related to your origin. Alien, dimensional, enhanced, super soldier, inventor, magical, mutant, technological, like a cyborg. Weakness. Each super must select one weakness of their choice. When confronted, they must roll with disadvantage until their weakness is removed from the area. A weakness can be anything from an item, mineral, or particular energy form to a love or secret identity being threatened. Weaknesses are designed to be narrative tools for the GM to use to create a compelling series. They're not hard and fast mechanical tools, but instead dramatic tools. And then weapons.
The weaknesses are totally wide open. You can pick whatever you want. You can pick anything you want. There is no examples list, and I think that's a disservice.
I mean, they do provide examples within the thing, but I feel like item, mineral, or particular energy pretty much covers anything.
Yeah, it can be anything. That's the point. You can make it whatever you want, but I do think it would be cool to have a little example list here, just to get the wheels rolling. You know what I mean? Just a little.
Yeah, we do like it when. Flavor. Yeah, that is something we always talk about. Inspiring rules.
It is a shame because they've used a ton of really cool superhero flavor throughout this book,
but not weakness, which is interesting.
Yeah, this would have been another cool place to throw some in. That's all. It's not a real complaint. I'm just saying I'd like to see some.
That's fair. Weapons. There are 3 weapon categories: light, melee, heavy, melee, and range. A lot of weapons. Game Master approval. That's it. And then on to the Gallant verse.
That's another part where it's earlier it listed the weapons, the light, heavy, and ranged, and it gave us these awesome, tasty lists of weapons like using trains, right, and using a giant starfish as a heavy weapon. They did a great job with that earlier, and just back to weaknesses, they could have given us a couple.
Yeah, I think there might be a weapons section, but I don't know.
Now this is the Gallant verse, Jahan. This is the setting.
Yeah. They have a setting.
They do have a setting.
Which some books don't. This one does. And I like that. The most important location is Century City, a fictional port city somewhere on the west coast of the United States. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you exactly where, just like any great superhero city.
Mm-hmm.
There's a comprehensive write-up of many NPCs, villains, and heroes, as well as organizations your players might encounter, which, awesome. I love tools. I love having tools at my disposal. Yeah. The basics. Superpowers aren't new in the history of the Gallant verse. Interesting. Any power is possible. The range of cosmic powers should be found to be possible. The range of cosmic powers should be found to be possible. The Gallant verse defaults to a near-future science fiction take on superheroes, where powers are more likely to be the result of gadgets, mysterious technology, blah, blah, blah. Multiple dimensions and alternate realities exist. Okay, and he says, hey, use the other tiny D6 if you want to for those other universes. Okay.
There are, I'm just pages and pages and pages and pages deep in this Gallantverse. There's a lot of really cool art. There are a lot of really cool superheroes. But then we get to huge pages where there isn't art for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages at a time, and then one frame. And then again, these huge, huge chunks of Gallantverse lore and no
Huh.
art.
Some of these artworks are reused. Interesting. But I mean, that's fine. At least they're there.
So this is really cool if you need background building for your world. If you're not looking to play in a homebrew setting, it looks like the Gallantverse is very, very detailed for you.
They do have a lot, yeah. They go as far as to list the richest citizens of the city and how much they're worth. One of them is a superhero and it has that in parentheses that he's Velocity. And then you have Asher Solomon, who's John Constantine, I think, which is cool. Yeah, the Eagle. Notable villains. Let's see these. Mountie Bank. His nemesis is Asher Solomon. That's funny. They have the nemesis is written down. Winter Fox. Dark Light. I like Dark Light. That's kind of cool. As I said, I was like, that sounds dumb, but then I immediately liked it afterwards. Shatter Wave. It's cool. And then House of Solomon, I think that this is a adventure by Darren Pierce.
Yes, then there's a Galactic Legion adventure. There are multiple adventures. Iron Triumvirate adventure by Marie Brennan. Pages and pages and pages of adventures to get you and your people started so that, you don't have to have a game master, really. You could just get straight into it. You're ready to play already with this book. And that explains the 200 pages of the PDF that I was like, I didn't think this was a 200-page system. Basically, it isn't. It's maybe an 80-page system.
It's like an 80-page system with almost 200 pages of adventure stuff, which it's pretty cool, actually.
Hell yeah.
It's not bad. Literally, you can grab this book, figure out the rules, and what did it take us? About an hour.
Not even. I think the rules are just roll 2d6.
Yeah, pretty much. But the overview in general took about an hour.
Yeah, I think it's actually even easier than that to teach to people. I don't think it takes an hour to teach.
I could teach somebody in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 minutes. You're right. 5 minutes, 3 minutes. This is easy.
And then on top of that, the character creation could take another 5-10 minutes. It could take longer. Some people have trouble making decisions. And then, boom, you grab an adventure from the back of this book. You have multiple choices, which, awesome. Not something you always find. Most books have one adventure, if any at all. Some of them have two. This one has 9. Big points for that. Got
Page 200, Jahan, is pretty fun. This is where the Rogues Gallery starts. And it is just villains. You need a villain, there's a villain. You need a villain, there's another villain.
Oh, and heroes. Above that. Rogues Gallery. Yeah, they literally call it the Rogues Gallery.
Mm-hmm. Which I like. Points to flavor. Thank you very much for calling it the Rogues Gallery.
Aftermath. Dark Light. Heretic. Like it. Monty Bank. Thule. Cool. Shatter Wave. Yeah, no, I love it, man. Oh, I'm not showing people. I turned it off because I was scrolling really fast. Wormhole. That's a cool superhero. Or villain. The Rain. That's kind of cool. Oh, the Rain is evil Gallant. It's when Gallant turns evil.
I like this, too. The microverses.
Oh, they have a microverse?
So they have many microverses.
Oh, this is funny. So they also have every single superhero that they listed earlier as an evil character.
Oh, that is funny.
And they changed their name. So Gallant turned to Hierarch, Stronghold, Bulwark turned to Stronghold, Velocity turned to Terminal. I don't know. It's cool.
It is cool. I was looking at which one? Epicenter. She is, the small Hispanic girl on the cover. Her story said she was from Mexico City earlier, and I love seeing her. Here is a two-headed bad guy. Looks like she's being torn in half by dark magic.
Yeah, she lost control of her powers. Yeah, no. And what else were you saying? Microverse.
I'm not even sure if she lost control of her powers or if this is a different epicenter altogether. It almost looks like a male, or even a male and female being torn apart in the middle.
Maybe.
I'm sorry. What did you say? What did I say? The microverses.
Yeah.
So they're huge, but I like this. There are all these different settings for you to get started. The first one is Avalon. This one is a city where it's safe for people with powers. El Dorado, Atlantis, Shangri-La, these types of places. The next one is going to be Battle League. This one is teenage angst and growing powers unexpectedly developed into superpowers. And with your parents' approval, you decided to keep your powers and earn your hero license. This one's for super academies. The World Heroes Society.
Yeah, these are settings. So the other ones before this earlier were adventures.
Mm-hmm.
These are settings, which the distinction there, if you don't know, like an adventure is do this. This is the story. These are the characters. This is what happens. Settings are literally just like, hey, this is the world. Run what you want in it. And that points towards we were talking about earlier, inspiring. And that's definitely here.
The next one is Major City. This one is superhero type of city. You're new here, and I'm Major City's sworn defender. Good guy. So this one's campy. This one's dumb ideas work. The allegiance of justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next is Imperial Harbor. I like this one. This is organized crime, pulp adventure, mad science, and conspiracies.
I like that one too.
This one says it's inspired by Batman the Animated Series, Astro City, and Double Indemnity.
And then it says Angelina and the Guardians of Avalon, which might be a adventure.
Inspired? No, it's not. This is another setting.
One's
inspired by Power Rangers, Sailor Moon, Saint Seiya, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, X-Men, Ninja High School, and countless others. The concept of this one is that high school is a trial. Book reports, boring classes, homecoming drama, and pesky monster attacks. Wait, what? Only select few can serve as guardians of Avalon. Teens gifted with powers and abilities by a benevolent sorcerer. Life isn't easy for the team, not with the ever more frequent incursions of the Minotaur, Chimera, and even the Honest of Gauche Titans. What? Honest of Gosh Titans? Can you defend the city while maintaining your upgrade point average? Your grade point average.
They have Titans. They have a whole list of Titans that are classic Titans. They have minions, who are fantasy creatures and all kinds of stuff. It's kind of like the Odyssey, it sounds like. Mentors that you can have. They have magical items like the Thunderbolt of Zeus, Trident of Poseidon, Staff of Hermes, the Lyre of Apollo, Bow of Athena, Hammer of Hephaestus, and the Heart of Aphrodite. Very cool. Yeah, no, that's like almost a Greek setting, which is cool. Then
next one is Celestial Gallant Knights Go. This one's Sailor Moon, Voltron type of vibe. This one, when you make your character, you actually pick a sign, a celestial sign that you fall under.
Where does it say that? I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of the flavor of this one. And you get avatar talismans that are tied to your constellation.
Oh, I see it. That's cool. Yeah, so these, so right off the bat, you have a lot to work with. This is not an expensive book. The amount of content you're getting for this price point is kind of bananas.
The Celestial Gallant Knights Go one has a 2d6 table to generate an episode.
What page is that on?
Page 247. And then the next one is a dilemma. pitches, then villain pitches. So this one has a lot of cool tables in it.
I like tables. So episode generator. Let's try it out. I always like doing this. So rolling 2d6.
Yeah, man, throw 2d6.
6. Shrine vandalized. An artifact is missing or destroyed. Excellent.
If you had rolled that 6 on Dilemma, a player ends up having 2 dates at the same time and cannot break either date.
And then also it gives stuff at the top.
This is also a high school setting.
It says players who roleplay this well gain an additional experience.
This is a Fuji high school setting. You're in the shadow of Mount Fuji. And you're also trying to keep your grades up.
Let's see. Pitch. 7. A gang of Onibi, corrupted criminals with a boss. Okay.
So the villain for this adventure.
Yeah. Criminals, essentially.
Yes.
Study. Study. Yeah, let's see.
Research to defeat a villain. Roll
10.
Twice and combine the results. So 10. During a certain time of day, you must, and then you roll another one.
6.
Monster is vulnerable in a special area or holy ground at a certain time of day.
That's cool.
That is cool.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I like it. So yeah, we have a lot of creative juice in this book. It's soaking
Lightning
wet.
Pines, there's another setting.
Yes.
Children of the World, there's another setting.
Another setting.
Wow, guys. You outdid yourselves with settings.
And, there is some sparsity and reused artwork, but the artwork overall I like.
I like the stylings of a lot of it, yes, for sure. I just had a huge problem with sparsity right in the middle. Through pages and pages of text, there was nothing keeping me from scrolling through pages and pages of text.
Yes.
Are you ready to start? Ready to start writing yet? It looks like we got to the end. You ready to start?
Yeah, we are done with our look through. I was gonna go find out because I feel like it bears mentioning. How much this game costs? I'm trying to drive the RPGs a pain sometimes.
I'm going to go back up to the cover because I love this cover. This is one of my favorite covers we've looked at.
Let's see. I want to look at how much Tiny D6 stuff costs.
So we're going to rate games. We've been rating all these other games based on system, art and visual, options, complexity, and the setting and theme.
Yeah, system, complexity, visual and art, setting and theme, and options.
And art and visual also covers layout for us. And
yes.
I'm a guy who appreciates a tasty layout. System, art, visual, options, complexity. I'm writing everything down now so I can get ready. And then setting theme.
Tiny Supers is $20.
$20 bills.
For 200 and some odd pages. You can also buy it. It does come in print. You can get softcover, hardcover. You can get all kinds of stuff. So the hardcover premium color book is $55.
Okay.
And then the softcover premium is less, and then So you can't. I buy PDFs, and it's just $20. It's pretty cheap as far as systems go, and there's always deals going on. I think they just recently had a Christmas sale, and you can check that out. But yeah, so I guess we're doing our scores.
Yes. Man, I'm kind of stumped here on art because I loved some of the art, but there was also a sparsity of it, and they reused images. I'm in a weird spot here.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, just don't forget about the layout. Give them points for that.
Yeah, some of that,
and some of the art is really good.
Right, but then there's huge.
But then there's also there's
30,
huge,
almost 30-page gaps.
But a lot of those gaps are in the adventures, and
that's true.
I don't know.
I'm so torn. I'm so torn here. I'm gonna come back to it.
Dang. All right. Surprising. You remember what we gave icons?
We gave. Yeah, I do. I have it written down. I have everything that we've scored so far written down. We gave Cypher System a 7. We gave Supers a 7.4, and that actually tied Mutants and Masterminds. And then Icons was an 8.4. It has a full point lead over Supers and Mutants and Masterminds. Icons is currently our front runner.
It is.
Which I didn't know what Icons was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'd heard the name, right, but I had never taken a look at the book.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see how my scores add up for Tiny Supers.
I have mine. Let me know when you're ready to go down the list after that, and then we will do our summary here. But I think, yeah, I don't know. Flipping back to the cover, I fucking love this cover.
That cover is so cool.
It's a good cover.
It is my favorite cover.
Yeah, I was about to say it might be the best cover we've seen so far.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good cover.
For me.
Yeah.
Plus 9 equals, divided by 5 equals. All right, I have my final score here. All right, buddy. How did you feel about the system?
So, system, it is very bare bones, which can lose you points in the system, but gain them in complexity. I think it's a good system that you can run pretty easily. It's not bad. I gave it 6.
Also thought good system. I thought easy to run, not too detailed. I gave it an 8 for the same reasons. I thought not so bad. Usually we have within 1 point of each other.
It's such a minimum system that the system itself is not something to be like
It is stripped down. Absolutely, it is a minimalist system. I think that I'd rather have a clean, stripped down minimal system than something that has kind of convoluted bullshit.
Yeah. I like more crunch.
I do too. And I thought that in particular, let me harp on Cypher System real quick. Cypher Systems I thought was kind of convoluted bullshit. And
Cypher System, one.
Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we'll go back and
No, you're right. It was the writing was, I don't know, man. It was so, like, how do you make your system so high concept? Like, it's an issue with Monty Cook games, is that the system, which is the basis of the whole thing, is itself high concept, and
I'm not even sure if they are high concept or they just claim to be.
No, I mean, it's definitely trying to be, and I don't want to be a noun. I don't want to be an adjective noun that verbs. I don't know. It was dumb.
I don't want to piss off Monty Cook, but the point I'm trying to make.
We didn't fail him.
This system does not suffer from needless complexity
yes.
or bullshittery, so that's why I gave it an 8. because even though it was simple, it didn't become convoluted at any point.
I need more crunch than this. I gave it a 6, but complexity, it did make up for that. Complexity, you will not find an easier system to run/teach. This is it. If you want something easy, complexity. So obviously, complexity is so we go 1 to 10, right? 10 means it's not complex.
Right.
Just I want everyone to understand. I gave it 10 out of 10 complexity.
I gave it a 9. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
See, it made up that right there fixes our average out to be the same, which is funny. Then visuals, great art in a lot of ways, great layout, but there was a sparsity of art in some parts, and there was reused art, which I was like, that's weird. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. I guess we don't have to debate that with each other because we agree.
Everything you said was right, and I kind of talked about it out loud when I was looking at it, and I had it between a 7 and an 8. I really did, because I really love that cover art, and I really wanted to give it an 8. But
yes.
Reusing images, that's not super awesome.
It's fine for you to do. Look, it's fine. I understand. It costs money. Sometimes you have difficulties with artists. Things happen, and it's fine. I'm not shitting on them, but it is weird, and it's like, hey, you lost a point. Like, it's fine.
That's true. At least we have a reason for it. Right?
Yeah.
Next up is options.
Yeah.
Right.
Options. You can pretty much make everything. I wish there was a little bit more powers. I wish there was some more powers. I gave it 8.
Man, see, this is where we make up for our disagreement earlier, because I gave this one a 6 on options.
Okay.
I immediately was pulling stuff out of my pocket that I could not make.
You were. And
not to say it couldn't be made and it couldn't be reflavored, because multiple times in this book it said this book is a structure. Make what you need to.
Yeah.
It's I could make it. That's fine.
You can make it.
I could get Game Master approval, but that's different than being included in the book.
Exactly, and that's why instead of, because 10 is you can make anything, right? That's why I knocked 2 points off, because you kind of have to stretch the definition a bit and do it yourself. Lost a couple points from me. I understand why you gave it a 6. I do.
This is where simple systems shoot themselves in the foot.
Yes.
If your system is too easy, then it can't have enough.
Yes.
And one of the things about superhero systems is you either need to have enough, or it needs to be totally wide open or something. And then this system kind of falls somewhere in between as far as options are concerned for me.
And another thing for the options, maybe I should have given it a 7 because of this. But so when it comes to like items, right? It's vague, and that's fine. But in a superhero game, like I kind of want, like, I understand they said you can make whatever you want. Items do what the GM says. That's a big burden on me. In a lot of ways, it does promote creativity, and I appreciate that a lot. But I want to see, like, hey, this is what. Smoke bombs or something. I just wanted something like a little, like 1 page of items would have gone a long way.
I agree. I completely agree.
But I gave it an 8 out of 10 on options. I do feel like you can make pretty much anything. It is very open. They don't put any hard lines, and that's why mine is a little higher than yours.
That is brings it to the final, right? To our final category, setting and theme.
So I was hard pressed to not give them 10 out of 10. So there is a lot of flavor in the rules, and then there's like 9 literal settings. You know what I mean? And there's NPCs. They have backstories. There is the Gallant verse, which is a supported it's a whole thing. And also the simplicity of the rules and the way they work, it actually does, to me, make people feel super. Which is so that's to say, some games, they have simple systems for the superhero stuff, and it takes away. This one, you feel super, because you can succeed pretty easily, and you can, with the powers and the traits, really make yourself a badass that's going to succeed more than not. But death is still an option. So, like, I liked it. I gave it 10 out of 10 on setting.
I also had to give it a 10 out of 10.
Excellent!
For the same reason, we've looked at some of these games that give you maybe a paragraph of how to make it feel like this type of vibe. And I think even that is enough setting to get the wheels rolling.
Yeah.
This didn't just give me
above and beyond.
This is so much more than what I expected out of a setting.
Yeah.
It is too much Gallant verse in the middle. There should have been just as much Gallant verse setting as there was for the other settings afterwards. Because my biggest problem with the art was that there wasn't enough during that Gallant verse section. So if you would have stripped that down, I think this book would have gotten a better score from me overall.
Yeah.
That being said, it still got a 10 out of 10 on setting.
Yeah.
I just think that would have solved the art problem and made the settings even easier to consume. My total for this, my overall score was a 7.8.
Interesting. 8.2 for me.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was an 8. It was an 8 flat.
Oh, so our average is 8.1? Is that?
That's correct. And that puts us, that puts it right in second place as far as score goes. And I don't know how to say this without offending people who worked on Tiny Supers, Jahan. I don't think that's the game I would want to play for a long-term campaign.
So...
To me, it is very close to a pick-up-and-play system.
It is a pick-up-and-play system, and it wants to be. So, like, kudos. I would absolutely run this as one-shots. I would even do it in a slightly longer form. I could do a 10-episode spread on this. I don't know if it's my pick either. It is second place right now. Icons is still beating it. But hey, Tiny Supers, we rated you higher than Mutants and Masterminds, Supers, and Monty Cook's Cypher system. So, kudos. Well done. And also, Alan, if you're listening, thank you for sending us these books. We really appreciate it. A lot, and we enjoyed this book.
My favorite cover art.
Yes, favorite cover art, and also, I mean, so we do this too. If we certify something fresh out the box, buy it. You know, that's what we're saying. I certify this fresh out the box. Buy it. Yeah, I will recommend this product.
I'm gonna look
and I have already.
I'm gonna look up Michael Leavenworth. That is the cover artist.
Ooh. I love Michael. Thank you. Seriously. I don't know exactly what it is. But this cover is one of the best covers I've seen in a while. It tells the story, and I love it.
He only has 50 followers. He's out of Austin, Texas. His work is great.
Oh, we're about to be his friend.
Yep, that's on my list. Great work, Michael Leavenworth.
What's his Twitter handle? Maybe we can get him some followers.
It appears to be at Learf11.
How do you spell that?
Learf 11.
Lear? Like King Lear?
Yep. Learf.
Oh, with an F?
Mm-hmm. He appears to like Warhammer and stuff like we do.
Interesting.
I'm not sure if he's a big tweeter man. Maybe that's why he has 50 followers.
Maybe. But yeah. So hey, buy Gallant Knight games, Tiny Supers, and also check out many of their other. They have Tiny Cthulhu, they have Tiny Kaiju and Robots. I forget what that one's called. That one's new. So if you want to, huh?
Tiny Tinkerers. I don't know if that's what it's
called. So, and the other cool thing is Tiny Supers, I'm pretty sure you can mix that with their Kaiju system to fight big monsters in Tiny Supers. And so there's a lot of that goes on in the Gallant verse, and I do appreciate modular systems like that work together.
Yeah, this is our second look at a modular system during this superhero overview. And for a modular system to outplace designated superhero systems is impressive. Great work for the team over at Gallant Knight Games. Tiny Supers looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks great. Thank you everyone for watching. I have been Jahan. I've been Johananon at RockFact on Twitter, at Johananon1 on TikTok. If you want to see me do my own like mini system overviews, I've been doing Black Void lately, and I'll be doing more. So yeah, check me out.
I'm Casualty CDG, and you can find me at Casualty CDG. And you can find us every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night at twitch.tv/Johananon and Fresh Out the Box YouTube or our Fresh Out the Box Facebook. We usually play tabletop role-playing games or talk about tabletop role-playing games, indie games, board games, or whatnot have you. We've also been doing interviews with people in the gaming industry, and we look forward to continuing to bring those to you in 2022. Don't forget to follow our podcast, Fresh Out the Podcast. That's where we talk about movies and video games, streaming shows, and whatever else really strikes our fancy or makes us want to argue over nothing, like Hawkeye or Spider-Man.
Yeah. And hey, this is also our last stream before Christmas, so happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah, that's true. Happy holidays to everyone. We'll be back on the 29th for our final episode of Wedoon's Day of Modifius's Dune campaign. So we look forward to seeing you guys there. Fresh Out the Podcast comes out every Sunday on Spotify and Apple Music and all the other podcast things.
Special episode coming out tomorrow on Christmas Eve, so check it out.
Oh shit, spoiler alert!
Have yourself a good one, and stay fresh.